Hello, my name is Red. I'm joined by Mel.
Coffee shop AUs are evil. Also, you didn't even introduce the podcast.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what I do for skipping the queue. We record it so infrequently. Also joined by Brad.
Alright then, there's a Last Star Arc episode 25. I watch Ultraman Arc full episodes. They show Amazing Perfect Story and Ultraman Blazer. Amazing show. After I forgot Amazing Show, I feel like I'm just a kid. Watch Ultraman Tiga, Dyna, and Gaia Agul. Subaraya Productions. Never feel again, but New Generation TDG never end because 2023 we talk Ultraman, New Generation, Gaia, and Agul, the last generation. But we got Blazer, an amazing show. I hope 2025 make a New Generation Gaia and Agul, make it a show or a live show that I had to say that this is my last comment arc. I hope New Gen Gaia and Agul has a chance. Crying emoji.
So true.
Yeah, I mean, looking back a bit, you could just say that you forgot the concept of skipping the queue, and then you can save it and make it relevant to the episode.
Yeah, I could. So there are like, I have some positive feelings about Arc. However, there's like 3 episodes in a row where they do the thing where the hero is presented with the false reality and has to reject it.
This is maybe the most spicy coming into a podcast recording I've felt in a minute, and it has to do with that, our 3-part finale.
So yeah, we watched the last 5 episodes of Arc. Let me pull this, it was episode 21, which is The Dream Bird, episode 22, The Man in the White Mask, episode 23, Calamity Thrice, then there's a recap, and then episode 24, The Descending Dream, and episode 25, Time to Run, Yuma. And what's Calamity Thrice? Can someone remind me?
That's Trigelos.
What's Trigelos again?
You know,
like the horn kaiju thing.
Like, he blew up the city.
But he has like 3.
The one where Arc gets crucified.
Oh, yeah.
And it ends with the giant crater where they all think he's dead.
Yeah.
I might not be able to like recap that episode. I watched it. I definitely watched it, but for some reason,
do you remember the most important scene at least?
Let me have a look at this episode and see if I can.
Is that the one with them in the car?
This is English.
Yes, the one
This
the
is
one
the
in the
English
car,
dub.
yes.
Ew. Hang on. Oh, the bit in the car. Yes, the bit where. Okay, no, I do remember this episode because I remember being like, they Xenoblade Chronicles 2'd Shu Ishido. They gave him the fucking. There's like he's like Yuma. I can't. Hang on, let me find the fucking thing. It'll be on my Blue Sky.
Oh, I didn't even see your post about this.
Okay, here we go. Shu being like, I don't want to lose you, and Yuma says, I feel the same. I don't want to lose anyone. I was like, oh, he got neared. He got Welsh catgirled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is really funny.
And also, that car scene, maybe the only emotional beat of the last 3 episodes I actually think works, if I'm being honest.
Oh,
wow.
I'm pretty negative on how this show ends, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, divergent for me then.
I might be somewhere in the middle. I don't know. We will see. My feelings might become clear as we go. So yeah, we got like we have got 5 episodes to cover.
In hindsight, maybe we should.
Yes. This is gonna be a day. So
I mean, I feel like the first 2 make a pretty good.
Yeah, we might not do this. We might not do this like one by one. Is the thing? We might do it more old style, where skipping the skew, like the Mirror Man episodes of like Detour Quarry.
I will be factoring in our experiences with the Arc when scheduling the show next year.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's today is just an interesting day anyway. So okay, so before we get into any of the finale stuff, we have got 2 episodes. One is about a woman that I've forgotten her name again.
I think her name is Aoi.
Yes, her name is Aoi. I don't remember what the person in Skip is called.
Rin.
What her name is. Rin.
I like how Rin's name, for whatever reason, has just not stuck the entire run.
Apologies to Rin. I mean, I don't remember the Chief's name.
I mean,
either,
she definitely gets the least to do, right? So I get it.
And she gets the weirdest. She made a robot boyfriend to replace her professor.
A mass-produced robot boyfriend, as it turns out.
Mass-produced her robot boyfriend.
Don't think I didn't notice.
She just adjusted. Oh, the massage.
Yeah, don't think I didn't fucking notice. As soon as she's like, "Oh, my shoulders hurt," he's like, "I could give you a massage." It's like, fuck off.
You have assigned the blame onto the robot that has been programmed to think like this. She's the one that repairs him. She's But yeah, so Aoi wants to be a writer and has had big dreams. Works at an editor, there's a newspaper or something. And she is basically fucking dying. The amount of work she's having to do. Her boss is lazy and constantly putting stuff off. And she wishes upon. She gets a kaiju comes down. She manages to invent a kaiju because of a wish granting thing.
Using a Bahamut from space. This is like Berserk for babies in a way that I think is really fun.
Berserk for babies. I think you mean Dark Souls.
Oh, a little bit. That is a cracked red eye orb.
Where was I? Yes, and the bird it grows and grows, and this is a fun episode. She's trying to hide the kaiju, and then she's trying to protect the kaiju, and then the kaiju gets hurt, and she gets shot by the GDF, and she's like, I wish for the kaiju to destroy humanity, kind of. And
the cops literally shoot the thing that makes her dreams come true.
It's real. That is amazing. Really fun. It's pretty good. And she doesn't take this well. But she she recovers after she witnesses her nearly just killing a child with the kaiju nearly killing a child or whatever, and she's like, uh-oh, that's bad. Tara defeats the kaiju, it's etc etc. The other episode that isn't part of our finale this week is The Man in the White Mask.
Notably, both of the ones that are not part of the finale are got stylistic quirks going on.
Yes, they do. They're having fun.
Yeah.
And this episode, the whole of the Skip team is hasn't rained. When was the last time it rained? And they're trying to figure out how long it's going to be sunny for. It's going to be sunny for 11 days.
Yeah, they do the shoe flip.
Yeah, they do the shoe flip.
I was like, I learned what that is.
By that we mean by that we mean flipping shoes, as in SHOE. We don't mean the shoe is flipping to divine the weather.
Well, if it was Yuma doing it, he'd be fine with it. But
True. And then, they gradually, things come undone a little bit. It's the Skip office vanishes. They don't, the chief starts to run a cafe instead of,
Cannon coffee shop AU.
Yeah. And they're actually, this sucks.
Yeah. And eventually, Yuma, they fall one by one, and Yuma is left to face the Man in the White Mask, who's like, yeah, I found this thing buried under the earth that creates a utopia, and it's this big hovering monolith thing, and he's like, yo, everyone can be happy in this world. There are no feelings of sadness anymore, and Yuma like rejects this world
because he's like, I'll free people from suffering by erasing the kaiju, but to do that I do have to get rid of Ultraman.
Oh yeah. He's like, we're getting rid of the source of all suffering, which is kaiju, and but Ultraman counts. Ultraman counts as a kaiju.
Yeah.
And then Yuma's like, who are you? And I'm like, I am Ultraman Gaiden, the man who erased his name.
True.
The bit where he takes his fucking mask off and there's just a green apple floating in space as a face. It's very good.
Yeah.
It's like imagination, you know. Can you imagine an apple? That kind of thing.
Yeah, like the Twitter meme.
Yeah, rotate this apple in your mind. But Yuma rejects this. He's like, no, we will live in a world where Ultraman exists anyway. And he breaks out, and everyone is free, and it starts to rain, and he's like, okay, the rain is back. Sometimes rain is good. That would have been a world without rain.
Also, Shoes has an arm injury that disappears because the concept of kaiju is gone, and then it comes back.
Oh yeah, true.
This is my platonic ideal for an Ultraman, like a modern Ultraman episode. I loved this one.
I had a feeling this would hit well with all of us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's got like enough Ultra Q-isms in it too.
Is the filter they have on this episode supposed to be an Ultra Q thing? Because it's not black and white, but it is desaturated.
I don't know if it's supposed to be an Ultra Q thing so much as it's like the color drained for the world thing.
Yeah. I was trying to, because towards the end I was like, we're not really getting a kaiju, and I'm wondering if this is supposed to be a throwback, but also like, I don't know, but yeah, no, it was neat though.
Yeah, we just get a fucking pillar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, giant pillar in the sky. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think this episode is okay. These are like the two non-finale episodes. I think both these episodes are pretty good. I think the first one is like amusingly brief.
Yeah, I'd say so. It does feel like it just, we get a lot of build up, and then like the resolution is fast because you only have so much amount of the episode left.
Yeah. But I think while it lasts, the idea of her keeping this person-sized kaiju secret was pretty funny.
Yeah. I love both of these two episodes of like, this is just like fun monster, like, and how it relates to like the human experience sort of thing. Where like you just get this really nice condensed story of this woman kind of letting the realization that her dreams will probably never really come to fruition, kind of overcoming her and being like, well, fuck everyone else then. Which I think is a very real feeling that like at some point everyone kind of needs to wrestle with, I think is just part of growing up. And then the second one, I'm just like, we're in that Twilight Zone bullshit that I love. Yeah.
It's like
fantastic.
It's like, when you want an Ultraman episode that's like, more high concept than just like, there's, a big dinosaur running around that's funny.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what if there's like a weird thing about this thing, or what if there's like a weirdness going on, like,
And I think it's neat how they tie it back to the school that Yuma went to, where he's talking about like the rain washing away his chalk drawings.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Like that's a good character moment.
I do think I like the direction of Yuma's character, I guess, but we'll see. I did like that. I did like when the world was restored. You get like the chalk stains on his hands.
Yeah.
Back.
Yeah. I'm basically just like I liked the style of this episode. I'm like, I watched Naruto. So like I'm like Naruto is like enough infinite Tsukiyomi for one lifetime is the thing. Which is the fucking what if you have to reject the fake, the easy reality, the easy world, the fake world, and face the real world.
Unfortunately,
you know what? When you were counting the doing the fake world 3 times in a row thing, I didn't even think about this episode. But yeah, this episode also counts. Yeah,
I thought you...
this is the first one of those in Arc. There will be 2 more.
I think I forgot one of them in the middle then.
There's he's buried under rubble or something, and Arc is talking, not Arc is talking to him and saying, "Yeah, this was all a dream, actually.
I forgot.
You're about to wake up.
It was all a dream.
Your parents are alive. You are about to wake up from the incident, and everything will be fine. This was all a dream." And then no, it was Swede. And then the final episode, after Yuma has revealed to everyone that he's Arc, we can hop around as much as we like here. So the finale has 3 kaiju. We've got one that's kind of a Zeton look-alike.
Yes, we got Trigelos.
Yeah, that's the
where
one.
It's like, there's a Digelos with 3 horns. Trigelos.
Yep.
Yep. And I guess it's just like, it comes back, and it's like, this one seems like Taylor designed to fight Arc. And so he beats it with Blazer's power, and that's how he wins, which I thought was cute.
That was kind of fun.
Yeah.
And then we've got the Dream Kaiju is here, and looking at this, just aesthetic. I love this kaiju.
Yeah, it's like
this is a cute kaiju.
This is the Baku one, right?
Yeah, it's cute and kind of like repulsive in a way. But it also feels like unorthodox for like an endgame kaiju, because I feel like there's in some ways there's kind of like a stock kind of like endgame kaiju you can expect.
It can't be too goofy. It's got to be menacing, right?
Yeah, it's got to be like some sort of weird bug dinosaur thing. But
this is just a fun little guy.
Yeah.
I like this guy. Unfortunately, his superpower is like making people have dreams. And we get like 2 of them.
I guess. Yeah. I felt good about episode 24, and I did enjoy like episode 25 a lot. But I guess like thinking on it, it is weird that he did it. The power is just like, he did it twice in the same 2-parter.
He did do that, but he didn't get to meet and reject his false parents in episode 24. So he gets to do that at the beginning of episode 25.
You just got to double down on it.
There is a funny wrinkle here, which is that Swede is pretending to be his dad in the vision, and then his quote unquote real dad arrives to tell him to run instead of say goodbye to Arc.
Yeah.
But then that real dad is Arc.
Yeah.
It's a tug of war between Arc and Swede over the soul of Yuma.
Yeah. Worth remembering
instead
that
of being like the truth.
Worth remembering that Yuma's dad is also Arc's voice actor, which is fun.
Oh, this is true. That's true. I'd forgotten that detail.
Yeah,
I remembered there was something about Arc, about his dad's actor. I was like, is this like? It's a cameo from someone. I don't remember who, but it's the Arc's voice actor, of course. Arc is his dad.
It's like the opposite of Blazer.
It's like the opposite of Blazer. There are many ways that Ultraman Arc is the opposite of Blazer, including but not limited to. Yuma's fine. I'm not like super high on Yuma, really. I'm not gonna be.
Yeah.
Me and Gento, we got a special relationship. I hate that man.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same on that regard.
I guess I'm just like, he's not just like a blank slate. They gave him some stuff with like, he's just kind of fucked up with his parents, and that's just like a thing that he still like deals with, and like he's like, oh well, I run forward to just like forget about it, so I don't think about it. And I kind of like that as like a wrinkle of just like he's always not just the happy-go-lucky guy. Like he's just like there's like a mask to it in a way.
Yeah, I can see that. Go for it.
Oh, I'm trying to figure out shit. So here's the thing. Watching this episode, and it was around the point where he had the conversation with his two dads, fake and real. I like paused and wrote down a thing because I was like, I feel like I've had my feelings on Modern Ultraman crystallize in like a specific moment during this last episode, and I was like, I need to make sure I don't forget this, so I actually wrote it down. But also it's kind of like a thing that I feel like is going to broaden the conversation to the show as a whole, so I want to make sure that we hit the details first before we continue. But I guess like continuing on this point, the one thing, because a lot of the emotional stuff in these last 3 episodes really didn't hit for me outside of kind of like I said, I think the conversation he has with Shu in the car is actually really good. I like it quite a bit. Yeah. But why the fuck does he leave at the end? Outside of other Ultramen do this. I don't know if I thought that was kind of I wouldn't have done that.
Like something. It's like to do with.
I assume it has to do with like
he's got to go pay visit the galaxy because of the crisis they're having in their home galaxy.
Because like they took care of like. I guess they like stopped Zesu and Sweet's plan, but like there's still like things they have to like fix over there.
I suppose, yeah.
Also, Gento did not do this. Gento did not leave.
Yeah.
No.
Maybe he should have.
will be interesting to see when we get to like future shows the degree to which they may or may not leave in the future.
Yeah, it was the first time I feel like I was watching one of those scenes and I was really just like, this feels a little like we gotta say our goodbyes. Also, I'm Ultraman. Well, actually, I will say I think the reveal is like a fine
I really
moment.
I think it's a big part of why I was high going into the finale. Is like I really liked the reveal. And more than anything, I think I think a lot of what elevates these last 3 episodes for me is more Shu than anything. Once again, MVP
I think Shu's
show.
pretty good. Shu actually, I like it also too, on that note, I like that we get Shu being panicked and like genuinely really concerned about Arc, even before he realizes and knows who Arc is. So that when we do get the reveal of, Yuma is Arc, I think that hits even further home.
Yeah.
But
like we get the good moment in episode, the episode we basically skipped, 23, after like the car scene where like because Trigelos is going after Yuma, and the first like Shu drives him away, because I think there's a lore thing where like because the Onyx is inside Yuma, Zesu is using the fact that the Onyx is the gate to be like, well, I guess I'll just poison him from here, which is fucking Yuma.
I mean, that is one reason not to make the trolley into a new form.
Yeah, they did,
that is one reason that I did not, oops.
did not consider that. But you get the moment where Arc is like being owned by Trigelos, and like Shu's doing his analytical thing. And Rin goes like, "How can you be so calm in a situation like this?" And he just snaps her like, "Well, do you think I'm calm? Excuse me." And I thought it was good.
Yeah, like, all that Shu stuff works for me. When we get to the team as a found family towards the end, I started to feel like...
Go to Ibuki voice, you're my dad.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it something that I think I have, reflecting on both this and Blazer, I sometimes feel like the people making these shows fall back into writing scenes or emotional sentiments that they saw in shows from when they were a kid and don't necessarily feel heartfelt or like they have the impact they do being done here. I don't know if that makes sense.
I think I get it.
I think sometimes they fall back into a natural cliche, and it might be subconscious, but sometimes I feel like they fall into emotional beats that are expected, but I don't feel the oomph.
I think I get what you mean. I think it's similar to like when you talk about something you talked about a lot in the Ace season, where like there are episodes where it feels like they've done enough of these, they're telling one of these stories again, then they're just doing the shortcuts to hit the beats, but not necessarily doing the work to like make you feel the same impact. It's like, oh, it's another one of these episodes again, so we can just speedrun it.
And what's interesting to me is that with Ace, I felt like that a lot with the monster stuff.
Yeah.
Here, I feel it with like the character stuff.
Yeah.
More like I actually think a lot of the episodic, like, oh, here's a wacky new idea stuff is like some of the best parts of the show. But then when it comes to like, oh, how does humor relate to the team? A lot of it, I'm just like, I don't know if their heart's in this one.
Yeah. I think it's weird. I think it definitely is the case. Like the consistent thing we've said is like, the guys in Skip just aren't guys to us the same way that the scarred guys are. It's just, Spiders George, Ishido.
You know what is a found family? Scarred. It's the family that Gento could never have.
Is it a found family or a forced family?
Gento found the family as a way to get away from his real family that he didn't care about.
Wait. Found on LinkedIn family.
Found on LinkedIn family.
Listen, his real family is there in the background making food for his coworkers.
All of my favorite found family stories start with me professionally recruiting everyone based on their talents and accolades.
Because my boss
so true.
Listen, you gotta be good enough.
I don't accept like subs. You got standards in this.
I signed the adoption papers on your back.
This is an entry-level family position. Oh, you don't have 5 years of experience being a son.
That's
what can you bring to the table?
That's how the interview went for all those kids that played Jun.
That's how they play.
Where were we?
Some were the milieu of the final two-parter.
Yes.
So yeah, there's I mean, we did kind of skip an episode, but we're not. I don't think this episode of the podcast we are necessarily doing like stuff like in order. The thing, so we get what did I have? I had something. I haven't got it anymore. Maybe it'll come to me.
Yes, I will say, since I feel like I kind of went into this hater mode, and Mel, I do want to ask, like, what parts of this did you? It's because it sounds like you really fucked with these last few episodes. What like hit for you? I guess
I just liked seeing the stuff with him. I guess talking over the fact they did like. Maybe it's because I did actually watch 24 and 25 as they aired, so like having that week in between meant like, oh, they did the same time twice didn't really hit me until you guys mentioned it. But
yeah, I watched a lot of these back to back.
Yeah, so maybe that helped. I think it just like I liked that Yuma had stuff more going on besides just being like hero boy, and I like Shu's stuff a lot. I guess it was like a bit, some ways a bit trite, but I did I did like the dream stuff loops into the imagination theme stuff. So it's like they're like thematically consistent, like they just making sure there's a through line that's there. I like the set pieces. You get Shu going Ghostbusters mode to like save Arc at the end.
We did not discuss. We need to discuss Shu's going Ghostbusters. What the fuck? It just has the Ghostbusters outfit. He's got the fucking kit.
Yeah, Rin just builds like a the laser thing to like shoot the dream organ.
I expected Bill Murray to walk in off the side of the screen. I was so shocked.
I do like that we get the dual dream and real life scene, and so he blows it up in a dream and wakes up and fights in real life.
One thing I really like about the finale is the fucking stupid Spacium beam.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's
yes.
so
Okay,
over the top.
You know what? That's also part of it. I just think that was hype. Where you just fucking
He shoots a Spacium beam at
Swede.
Swede, and then kind of just hops up, and the force of the shot
because she's
blasts
blocking
him
it
around the Earth, and he goes in like a perfect straight line around the Earth, and eventually gets to like stand back to back with Swede. And then
he
puts
whips
like a
it.
ripple into he whips the beam, puts a wave into it, and this like shoots her through the head.
Yeah, ripple. You see the shot of it rippling around the world, and then it blasts her head
The
off,
fucking
and then
shot of Arc sailing past the pyramids.
and then after he fucks up her head, he just like turns around and walks past her, and then it explodes, and it's good. Cool guys don't look at explosions.
He just murdered that woman.
She deserved it.
She did deserve it.
She's like, oh, I'll turn myself. Oh yeah, we forgot the part where like she
turns herself into a gate,
and then he like takes the monohorn and shoves it into the hole to block the gate, and like karate chops it so she can't pull it out, and that's also cool.
Yeah. Why did you build this vent out here where there's people? No, shut up.
I remember something really ridiculous Swede said in episode 25 where she's like, see, the thing about you lower life forms is you have the power of imagination to change reality. We don't have that because we're higher beings that use logic. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
This is like a really funny. This is one of those classic humanity thwarts the aliens by their humanity thing, but it's specifically framed as like the aliens are too clever to have they're like Kong Ming. They're too clever to have stupid dreams that come true. They can't think with their imagination anymore because they're like, well, that wouldn't work. Ridiculous.
I do like Swede's kaiju design.
Let me pull up the Swede kaiju design. I like the head. Let me Swede kaiju.
Also, she comes back with like an eye patch. So that's fun.
She does. I do like this kaiju. I think this is fun.
Yeah.
I
guess maybe it feels a bit more conventional on kind of being like a cool humanoid alien.
It is also ultra coded.
Yeah.
In the head.
We get like a few shots of like Zess, who is like a weird head guy.
Yeah, you know what? She should be an ultra person. She should be an Ultraman.
That would be fun.
But like not a man. She should be an ultra. There we go. That's the word. I was trying to find the term. I was like, what the fuck do they call themselves?
Yeah. I think sometimes people say ultra beings, but yeah, ultra is the fine one.
Yeah.
Will we get characters like that in the future? Who can say?
Ooh, no.
Yeah, you're right.
0.
Snipping your things out in the bud. I'm not saying shit.
Put hopes down to 0. And there will be no disappointment. Only surprises.
Yeah.
What are the like? I don't. This is a very disorganized way of talking about the finale of Ultraman Arc.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Shu Ishido he's got his stuff going on. His like goodbye to Yuma, I think, is good from him. It does feel like Yuma doesn't know.
Yeah, I was just thinking like, this is gay as fuck.
My man is very gay.
Like, needs to be stressed. Like, Yuma's like, hey, you want to hold on to my watch as my memento until I come back? And then Yuma like is not. No, she was like reaching for the watch and then clasps Yuma's hand and pulls him in for like a really tight hug and starts crying. And it's like, holy shit.
Yeah, my man is homosexual.
Yeah, Yuma's like, my dear friend.
He literally can't help it.
That part in the fucking car where he's like, you've rubbed off on me so much.
He wishes.
Yeah.
Sorry. There's like the reveal begins to happen with like Yuma glowing, and she's like, we gotta do this, why are you glowing? What's happening? What's that? Why is your chest glowing?
Yeah, and Yuma just keeps dodging the question.
Is it love? No, it's Ultraman.
Yeah. I do like that yeah, they're just like Yuma doesn't say anything. They just like everyone just watches him transform, and that's how they find out. And she was just very distressed about it.
The shot of specifically Arc looking over his shoulder back at everyone, I think is really good.
Yeah.
As like he's growing big.
Goku shit.
Yeah. Leave Jiren to me.
Leave Jiren.
Leave Swede to me.
Is Swede... I haven't watched Dragon Ball Super. I just know what people say about Dragon Ball Super. I should leave that alone. Never mind. I quite like Swede, at least. I think Swede's a nice enough villain.
Yeah,
just kind of mean.
I think the plan we've talked about before is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
Which I think it's probably fine if you're a child watching it. As an adult, it's kind of a bit hard. But like if I just turn my brain off, then it's like fine, I guess. It's more just like how Swede acts as a villain that kind of helps. If you just like don't think too hard about the motivations or like the logistics of the plan, and like why are you so dedicated to this one like plan to the point of fanaticism?
Yeah, I think the setup is a little ridiculous, but kind of as I've talked about in the past, I really like when the final villain is something with personality. And I think Sweet's personality is really fun.
Yeah. She doesn't like it when you edit the TV tropes page.
Yeah. the whole
she reaches out of the TV again.
She
climbs out of the TV. It's good.
It's good.
Everything with the plight of the other galaxy, I'm just like, this is ridiculous, but it's whatever. It's an excuse to get this happening.
I think it helps that it was it wasn't dragged out for half the show like Blazer, at least.
Yeah,
this is true.
Like they did, we did joke about how like they resolved the trolley problem in like a two-parter, but then they brought back the finale, which I kind of expected might happen. But I think it's nice that like we were in for a bit, went into some other stuff, and came back for finale, and like that's I think fun.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't really.
I think it's a better model, but yeah.
I wasn't expecting Swede herself to like show up as the final antagonist again. Like I figured it would have been someone related to like the situation. Yeah, or just someone in general. I think I
kind of just figured just because like they got like an actress for this, so I'm like, well, I guess they may as well use her.
Yeah, I mean I'm happy they did because once she was back and I was like, oh, that's neat. But yeah, I do actually like overall in general. I do think I'm more up on Arc than I am Blazer, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that I think this show lets its plot get out of the way more for more of the episodic stuff that I think I'm resonating with a little bit more.
Yeah, I think that's also true, and I think that's basically comes down to it. Like I like that we just had a lot of good episodes.
Yeah,
and
I like the guys in Blazer more, but
yeah.
The guys maybe do not all come together for a good plot the second half of that show.
Yeah, and I also think that like we have fun at the expense, but I do think like it is just like a poison pill of Blazer that like it just like flops the family stuff in the way it does.
I think the movie elevates the family stuff so high if you share specifically our perspective on Blazer. Him telling his son to shut up over the phone and he might not come home tonight is like I'm
so scared. Mom isn't answering the phone.
Son, I'm probably gonna be working late tonight.
He's not in on it.
I really wish I got to have the magical experience you did where you thought that entire movie Gento knew about his wife's pregnancy.
I mean, I also did that because I was like Red, I was like, there's no way he would speak like this to his son if he wasn't in on it, because that's like a normal reaction to have.
And then the end of the movie hits, and it's like, what? Oh my god. Kento is amazing.
I am a little curious what the movie for this will be, because I feel like in terms of closure, there's like we don't really.
Yeah.
Well, you know what they do is Yuma shows up and everyone's really happy.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious. Like, for whatever reason, I did see like the wiki placed like maybe the movie earlier in the series continuity too, so maybe that's the thing going on.
Oh, that would make sense.
In the
last,
I did look at the recap episode briefly, just for like trivia stuff, because like, well, I did all of them already, so. And they do briefly tease like, that they tease a bit of the movie as like happening around the time of the White Mask episode, so maybe that's what's happening. So maybe they'll address some of our complaints about like the Blazer movie, where it's like, well, I guess in the case of the Blazer movie, we were hoping the movie would have closure for something that didn't happen. But for this, where it's like, because I remember a part of our discussion was like our concerns with the movie pattern being like after the show was that like they'd force the movie to be an epilogue in a way that meant the show wouldn't necessarily have the closure we like from the shows. And like if this is maybe a way of like bypassing it by like being like, okay, this is more like it releases after the show, but it's more like a Toei movie where it's like a non sequitur event that happens in the middle of the shows.
So right? Is this their first time doing something kind of like that, where it's not the end?
I don't know, because I haven't seen a lot of the like I've seen a bunch of like the new gen shows, but I haven't seen a lot of the movies for those series.
Yeah.
And like in the Heisei era, a lot of the movies are like come out in the middle of the show's run, because they're like 50 episode shows. So like in that case, it's just it's just in the middle anyway.
Yeah, I think I kind of appreciate that, like that honestly, that kind of like DBZ approach to the movies, because also too it's like, I mean, even beyond like our purposes, I think it's kind of fun just to have a thing where it's like you don't need to worry too much about having seen the show. Like you can have just seen part of it and just enjoy this as a standalone thing. Just as you just need to know who these guys are.
Or you can watch a 12-minute recap of this or the movie.
Yeah, I always think that's kind of fun, just as a little separate piece.
Where the bracelet shows up for the child.
Yeah, doesn't have to be the big concluding thing every time for if they don't want it to be.
Yeah, I guess I could be wrong about how the actual continuity goes, because I don't know to the degree to which that stuff is like actually been said already.
We'll find out in 8 months.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, we'll obviously, based on our experiences of the Blazer, we'll let you know when we have the movie, before we're watching.
We will let you know in a fucking while.
Yeah.
I have seen the trailer for the movie.
I have too. It's just kind of there.
Yeah, it plays like in like every fucking ad break on the episode.
Well, yeah, because it's going to be in Japanese theaters next month.
Yeah, and obviously, like I'm skipping ad breaks, but like I'm catching bits of that trailer.
Yeah.
The final little message that they have, we probably haven't talked about this at all, but every next time on credits thing for the show has like a little thing that's like, oh, next time so and so, and then like a little thing about imagination or like Arc or whatever. And this time it says that Arc's adventures will continue beyond your imagination. And I was like, I don't know, I can imagine a lot.
Fanfic writers, get going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, they have, I'm sure.
Archive of your own with archive in bold.
Yes, yeah, Archive. B-related Arc episode. Finally, the B gun is revealed from Ultra 7.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the final scene in The Office?
It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. It's nice. It's like I think that's like a nice little capstone on the show.
Yeah, like because Yuma promises he'll call the Kaiju hotline and the Kaiju hotline rings.
I think as like we want kind of a bittersweet ending, but we don't want to hurt the kids' feelings too bad. It's like a fun little like way to do that, to soften the they're separated blow.
I think the only complaint is that when the credits roll, it shows them like talking eagerly on the phone. And like I get that's always for the kids. Though if I was doing it, I'd be like, well, I just cut the episode off at the phone ring and leave it ambiguous.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's like a minor complaint in the grand scheme of things.
What if they went home and then the phone rang? No one was there.
But who was the phone?
Who was the phone?
It's amazing that they still have a landline in this day and age.
That might be a Japan thing, but also, I wonder if that's also just like emergency
you
services
still have
thing.
fax.
True.
Yeah. I have, as my work, I have a. Well.
Like,
do you have to fax for your job?
No, a landline, but
okay.
the issue, IT's trying to move phone calls to Teams.
Yeah.
I'm like, that sounds like a terrible.
because I'm just wondering, like, to the degree to which is like, you don't want your phone infrastructure down in a capacity when there's like a fucking disaster.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe like, so I'm curious, like, to what degree, like, landlines is sort of like a, at least a fallback.
I think I'd install landlines in my kaiju like a kaiju emergency landline just for the aesthetic of it.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good for there to be a bat phone. A phone that Batman calls.
Skip mandated kaiju emergency aesthetics is a landline and a UP.
Yep, that's the two things.
I never grew to like that bastard.
What? Okay, we gotta. Right. What did UP do?
Exist. I really don't have anything other than exist. I just got bad vibes from the guy from minute one, and nothing he did ever turned me around on him. It's fine. He's fine.
He's a victim. He's a victim of human romantic drama. He is that woman's boyfriend. He is Rin's boyfriend. He did not choose this. Poor UP.
I think they should talk about UP in their Shelbajana William Gibson season.
Yeah.
Thinking about it, because I guess when this show started, I was thinking he was going to be taking on a little bit more of an Earth Garon-esque role in the actual minute-to-minute kaiju stuff. I feel like we only really got, like, him separating and, like, doing stuff to help out, like, maybe once or twice. Like, it didn't come up a lot.
He does it a few times. Like, his head will be doing, like scans over high up areas and stuff.
Yeah. I feel like he was maybe more of like just another guy to have in office scenes than he was like an active participant in a lot of this.
I mean, he's also a mascot for the kids.
You gotta have a mascot.
Yeah.
Like, that is what it is at the end of the day. Like,
And, not every mascot can be Earth Garon. This is the sad truth.
No.
Earth Garon, #1 kaiju in Ultraman Blazer.
True, scientifically proven.
Scientifically proven.
Even if we, like, aggregate the numbers, he'd be an overwhelming lead.
Yeah, please don't do that and check. Listener, don't check. It's just true. You just have to believe me. My proof,
if you believe
the trust with the trust in my heart, the friendship between us.
Do not check my claim.
Please do not check my claims. This is an act of violence against me. Do we have what do we I no longer have like organized thoughts, but I feel like we've missed loads.
Honestly, like,
for
me at
beats,
least, these last 3 episodes
This is true.
Really run together in like a way that I think we've hit the broad points as best as we probably can.
Yeah.
I think genuinely, I think maybe this finale it's strange to have like these two different like reject the dream world things like straight after the really cool episode about that.
Yeah.
I would have done a two-parter. Like, I think it.
I do think.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I do like that. Like, it is weird to have the episodes placed the way they are, but I also do think like ignoring like Swede as the real final boss, I do think having the final boss kaiju be like the Baku Dream kaiju is a good thematic choice.
Same.
Mm-hmm. It's like, what if imagination was evil?
Yeah. I need to mention, Arc defeats the kaiju, and then like with dream magic, it restores the world like a precure villain died, and I was like, oh yes.
He does, and then he justifies this by saying, well, yeah, imagination isn't like the power to rewind time; it's the power to create the future.
Yeah.
And then rewinds time.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
I really feel like this would have been, well, I guess, like, I would have moved the episode 22, I would have put further back in the series just so it's not rubbing up against this, but also, I don't know that this needed to be 3 episodes worth of conclusion. I think it would have been a tighter 2-part. And maybe just have him do the thing with, like, the fake arc. Like, honestly, the first one, I don't even think you need. I think the scene with his dads are good enough. I don't really... 2
dads, one
I guess,
one arc.
I guess, like... Yeah, I do like, I do think you're right in the end, maybe having, like, the one in 25 is what you needed and it's cut the one from 24. But I also do kind of like the moment of just, like, Yuma being woken from his dream by Shu shouting and then, like, breaching out of the rubble. That's pretty good.
I think there's a way to combine those.
There's probably a way to do it.
Yeah,
the hand coming out of the rubble's good. Classic.
Also, 24 using like the sort of the menacing dream void to just be like, well, we're not going to put like a quote from the episode here. We're just going to put this like a silent shot. Is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't have much else to say.
I will just say, I liked it more than Blazer in the end.
Same. This might actually be a good segue so I think I like Arc more than Blazer. I think I've come away from this show wondering, I'm not sure I'm a big Modern Ultraman fan. Like, just in general, I think so. I don't want to read this verbatim because I feel like I've kind of talked through a lot of what this hit, but what I will say is that I have concerns about this making an Ultraman every year thing. I think from my experience watching both these shows, I think there's 40% of these series is full of really good shit that's, like, creative. I think they're genuinely, like, really excited to do stuff within the genre, and have, like, these really good moments of characterization and these episodic stories. But then the other 60% of these shows, a lot of the times it just feels like it's content being made to fill a broadcasting schedule, and it's not hitting for me.
Yeah.
I really just think if they had more time off to make, like, to just make it all bangers, I think that they would get much stronger shows. I know that's not the economic reality of how the fuck these, like, toys and, like, the schedules they have for these things go, but I have this weird feeling that yearly Ultraman, kind of in general for me, is going to always feel kind of mid to all right, with these occasional flashes of brilliance that, like, kind of elevate it. But on the whole, I'm just kind of like, I don't know how I'm feeling about Modern Ultraman. It's kind of weird.
Our sandwich order also makes things weird.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's just like, it's tough because it's like, given like the involvement of Bandai to a greater degree than before, for the past decade, and also
Accursed Bandai.
Yeah. And also just like, I think even with like Toei's, which even more involvement of Bandai in that case, like even in Toei's like yearly shows, like you sometimes hear people going like maybe they should take a year off sometimes, because there's definitely like a stretch of Rider which wasn't great. I do need to catch up on Gaff though, but you can always see them like already struggling, where it's like you can see the ads for the show that they're going to air in between Arc and the next actual season. That's gonna be like, hey, we're gonna re-air episodes, because they have to fill the time slot, and so it's already kind of like, they're already spending half the year re-airing old episodes to keep the time slot, because like if they take a year off, they'll not be able to make more Ultraman, basically. So it's not a good conditions to exist under.
No.
And there's probably like some sensibilities of the writing staff that's to blame, but also just like there's a lot of, this is the shitty circumstances of the industry they're stuck with at the moment, because it's kind of like, well, there isn't really any Toku shows that aren't the 3 big ones that are established, and it feels almost kind of like you can't stop the cycle. You can't stop the yearly production cycle.
You'll never get back up again.
Yes.
No.
Especially since like the past decade has been like, I guess, the story of like Ultraman climbing back up to like from like $0 to like actually going toe to toe with Toei stuff. And like there's also the story of like, we'll get to it eventually, but just like the big, I guess you say, reliance on legacy stuff in sort of the earlier parts of New Gen, and like the fact that Blazer and Arc are like, well, now we can actually feel confident enough to make more standalone new stuff again, and how much that's like, oh, good job, versus how much is it still like, well, they still need to maybe practice at maybe making like bigger swings, I guess. Baby steps kind of thing.
I think that's a big thing for me too, is I have concerns about I guess I kind of already touched on this, so I don't want to just repeat myself, but I do think sometimes and again, I feel like an asshole because it's like we only have 2 shows worth of like me being able to draw from.
Yeah.
I do sometimes get concerned. I'm like, I think they're just redoing stuff that they liked from when they were kids, but I think that the stuff that they're being influenced by maybe had more impact or nuance behind it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's also this case of like we're watching shows from like the 60s and 70s where like well, some of them are more like overtly Cold War fascists, but also you have like the people who are actually in like the leftist kind of milieu. And that's also the thing you see in like, like earlier mecha shows versus like 80s to 90s onwards kind of stuff. It's just kind of like the smothering of like liberalism and everything, I guess you could say, as a culture.
I think it's that. I also think that part of it is also too like, I think that the heavy market segmentation and demographic sizing of how entertainment is made between now and then, I think that the people making those shows back then had the wiggle room to make some stuff for a like, assuming that a broader family audience was watching around the TV set and maybe could swing towards more like stuff that would be interesting towards adults, versus I feel like a lot of these shows are being made now knowing, okay, this kid is being handed an iPad and is going on YouTube to watch Ultraman Arc. And they're our primary concern, and we want to make sure that we're selling these different like forms as toys, and like, get the cool sword and that kind of stuff too. Like there's a sharpening of sense for this is who we want the show to appeal to. And part of that is just, I mean, I'm not a little kid, so like obviously this is not for me. But I think that there's a sanding down of like who this could be for, or who this could appeal to.
I definitely think
that it's like, that's a shame.
I think it definitely is like a case of just like, in general, we see a standing down of like a lot of things. Like I think lots of people would like talk. There's definitely a lot of people who are like sort of like, even like comparing mid to early to mid 2000s Kamen Rider to modern Kamen Rider, and sort of seeing like, damn, there's a bit less bite in the modern stuff because they're just like less willing to take those risks.
Yeah,
and like I just kind of like, that's unfortunately like the ecosystem we're kind of stuck with. That's like, not necessarily the creators of Ultraman's fault per se, but also, or the people who get brought up in it are the kind of people chosen because they're the kind of people. I don't know. It's complicated.
Mm-hmm.
There's
a self-selection process.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like more complicated, and it is like it's more difficult for us as like a trio because like we hopped on the modern train because Blazer was standalone, and like all the modern shows leading up to it are like things we'll get to in like a decade. So it's like
a thing about that, which is gonna be I've mentioned this before. I'm gonna mention it a little more strongly here. I'm not a form fan on the Ultraman. I don't like it.
I don't like it either.
When he's wearing the Onyx, and I'm like, just, get that off.
Yeah.
Ultraman looks cool. This does not.
I
like the narrative beat of the Blazer powered stuff being what allows him to beat the kaiju specifically made to kick his ass.
Yeah.
But also, I'm not super thrilled about the forms either.
Yeah, we'll see in the future how some other forms are, because I think like
there will be exceptions, I'm sure.
Because Arc's forms are specifically armors, there is a garishness to them that maybe other forms that are more integrated in the body don't have. And,
that's true.
And also, incidentally, Blazer's form was also kind of like an armor. So.
Yeah, I did not. I also did not. When I was watching the Blazer movie and he put on his giant like flaming like armor thing, and I was like, the Phoenix came out, and I was like, get out of here.
Yeah.
I don't want to see. I want to see Blazer. Blazer looks cool.
Yeah. I need that mid 2000s PS2 like evil superpowered form. You know the ones.
Yeah. There will be exceptions, because there is already an exception to this. Is again, I continue to watch Kamen Rider Kuga.
Yeah.
And forms are good.
And if with Kuga's case, it's like both the story makes it work well, and also it's like it's very simple. Like
very like,
it's color swapped.
Yeah, he's got a blue form. The purple form has like big like anime elf shoulders.
The pauldrons.
It's very funny.
Yeah,
that's the one, pauldrons. And that's good. I also like that he only ever walks when he's got that. It's like you could make he's got Dante forms, kind of.
Yeah.
I also think like the forms I think just feel more at home for Kamen Rider, where I feel like the transformation is a bigger part of the narrative hook than say Ultraman, where I think it's a lot more like I got an alien guy that I could turn into, but I'm kind of coexisting with him too. It's forms. I think in that you got to force a little bit more to play nice with the narrative you're telling.
I've got a question. Can we devise a new fate for an Ultraman other than dying, flying away, or staying? Dying or flying away, or just staying as Ultraman?
Becoming one with the Earth.
Becoming one with the Earth.
Like merging with the soul of Gaia.
Just go to sleep.
You go to sleep. I'm going with prison.
Prison.
He
to
gets imprisoned. He meets Ide.
We'll have to
Hog.
We'll have to tally up all the ways Ultraman says goodbye.
Original Metal Gear Solid 4 ass ending executed by firing squad.
I guess Blazer, he's just there.
Yeah, he's just hanging out.
I kind of like that.
Just fine.
Honestly, it's just like he's around.
They still don't know.
The fact that Gento is still around is the sad ending of Ultraman Blazer. He didn't just fuck off forever. Are we kind of done talking about Arc?
Yeah,
I think so.
Okay.
Was a bit.
Do you have any? I'll go for it.
I was a bit worried that like it'd end up being like really long because it's 5 episodes, but yeah, we did pretty decent. Like I think we covered the things that mattered.
We did a decent enough job. We
still
have another.
Yeah.
Another podcast to record.
Yeah. Yes. So
it is 6 p.m.
Yeah. So I'll get to my
color
stuff.
timers.
Yeah. Well, first I'll do the trivia stuff. Just going quickly through there's the special recap episode between episode 23 and 24. where Nakamura gets transferred to Skip's branch on Sanbon Island, which I can't seem to think exists, but it's a Pacific island in the tropics. And he's annoyed because it turns out this branch is actually more like this is Skip's personal resort, and now he's like, well, I got demoted from active duty to being the resort manager.
Oh.
Lol.
And the UP there is called Marine P, who talks like a Japanese with with a American accent, basically, and wears like the flower necklace kind of thing. And basically Marine P like gaslights Nakamura into like accepting his job as just like, oh damn, Skip people have such hard jobs, including the people at Hoshimoto branch. They got so much hard work. Even Arc has a lot of hard work. You know, you do good service if the Hoshimoto people and Arc came here and they got rejuvenated at the resort. And Nakamura's like, yeah, that's a good point. I should do that. And then also he teases the movie. Marine P ends the episode by swiping some tables while going to Wamba Blah Blah theme to himself, which is fun. Anyway, for the trivia, we got episode directors are Yusuke Akitake, 21, Tomonobu Koshi, 22 and 23, Takanori Tsujimoto, 24-25, and Toshiki Hara for the recap episode. Writers are Takao Nakano, episode 21, Masaya Honda, 22, Junichiro Ashiki, episode 23, and the recap episode, and then Jun Sakita, 24 and 25. Naoki Ichida is specifically special effects director for episode 21. For the kaiju, we have episode 21, Zandirus, aka Dory, is the suit actors Hiroki Arai, King of Bond suit actors Shun Takahashi. Apparently, in that episode, Aoi's company, where she works, is in the town in Tokyo of Kitagawa, which is specifically the place where they filmed the Metron episode of Ultra 7.
Oh. That's fun.
Also, I won't get into it to avoid spoiling the future, but there's like an Easter egg in this episode which makes me go, okay, you got your Monkey's Paw New Generation Arc, New Generation Agul, so there. Maybe I'll explain that in the future.
Yeah, I'm sure that guy that leaves that person leaves comments on YouTube understands. I don't.
Yeah.
But, they will.
One day I'll explain if I remember. So if you the listener, keep me honest, and remind me. Man in the White Mask, voiced by Masane Tsukiyama, who plays Zoken in Fate Stay Night. And he also plays...
that's funny.
He also plays Kazutaka Hiro, who's a villain from Kaiji, which is extra fun because apparently Arc's voice actor plays the protagonist of Kaiji. And the suit actor is Satoru Okabe. As for the pillar, that was designed by episode director Tomonobu Koshi. Anyway, this entire episode is a very specific reference to Belgian surrealist artist... name I forgot to write down. Rene Magritte.
Okay.
Whose name I'll copy paste in the chat. And specifically, there's a bunch of specific paintings. So first of all, there's
yeah. There's the man with the apple in his face.
Yeah, there's Meaning of the Night, which is the one with the mask itself is based off of. There's The Son of Man, who's the one with the apple. There's a shot where Yuma is falling, and then we just get like the silhouette of the birds with like the cloud texture, and that one is based off of one called the Skybird. If you remember that shot with like the overcast sky in the background. And then the pillar is based off the painting The Castle in the Pyrenees. I think it's kind of cool that you just have like the episode just like based off like a very specific thing like this. Just like, oh yeah, the people making it were just like nerdy about this one thing. And then like there's the one scene where Yuma is getting the umbrella from like the shop owner at night who forgot umbrellas exist, and that's specifically based off of this painting called The Empire of Night that they use that as the influence for like when designing the lighting and stuff for the scene.
Okay.
And they use like a combination of both like practical and like digital effects to get like the lighting. Apparently cinematographer Satoshi Murakawa got the idea to do that specific reference.
Okay.
Also, the Shiba Inu, who gets named Yuppie, is special effects director of a different episode, Takanori Tsujimoto's dog. Trigelos suit actor is the same as all the other Galoses, Yushiki Kuwabara. They say that episode 23 is the first episode where Yuma transforms without actually looking at the Henshin device, which I only mentioned because apparently it took him 11 takes to actually do it.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's fun. Gael Baku is suit actor Hiroki Arai, designed by Tomiyoko Hyokade, who also designed all the Galoses. Because I guess we're coming fresh off the final episode, there isn't really much trivia for like these last two episodes, but if there's any more, we'll save them for the movie. But I will say that like I made a joke that with the final episode in reference to Kamen Rider Build, they're like, oh, Kamen Rider Arc will involve a heated drama between men, because that was a line they said in the promo for Build. And then someone responded to me, I think they're one of our listeners, at Revelio Shion, gave this quote from like the promo stuff for Arc, where it's like, oh, it's the same thing. Tsujimoto emphasized that this time they want to focus on a man-to-man buddy relationship, a theme that is fully supported by the team.
I see. Man-to-man buddy relationship.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
Dude, we didn't talk about that. There was one of the one of the diary entries. The tweet just had like Shuma as the hashtag.
Oh yeah, they just added the ship name as the hashtag.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah. Anyway, the timers. Episode 21, 6 minutes 5 seconds. Episode 22, 1 minute. Episode 23, Arc is in the PC for a moment. We forgot to mention that one of Arc's buddies hijacks UP. That's funny. Yeah, Arc shows up in PC for 6 seconds, and then for the actual battles.
I have a quick philosophical question for Brad. While UP is being occupied by another being, does UP become less?
Yes.
Okay. So it is the person that is UP. That is the problem.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. You may continue.
Yeah, episode 23. Arc is in the PC for 6 seconds. The battle is 7 minutes 14 seconds. Episode 24, 2 minutes and 19 seconds, but it carries on to the next episode because he's frozen. Episode 25 is 17 minutes 31 seconds, consolidated for 19 minutes 50 seconds. And then when he shoots off in the sky at the end, 26 seconds. And then in the dream world, you have Dad Arc for 2 seconds, and then Dream Battle for 4 minutes 4 seconds. 44 seconds.
All right.
Yeah, and then we got Shu's diary entry asterisk because I discovered to my heartbreak the official translations are 2 weeks behind, which means I don't actually have the diary entries for the last 2 episodes.
Rip.
So I'll have to save them for another time, whenever that is. We'll see. It might just be for the movie, even though that'll be like months away. But whatever.
That's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine. We managed.
It feels weird to like tack it on in like a little like a Leo episode or something. So.
Yeah, that would be strange.
Yeah. But anyway, for now, the penultimate Shu's diary. Episode 21. This diary appears to be written in the middle of the episode because Shu mentions Rin feeling something up with a friend on the phone and goes over to see her, and then Shu calls up the GDF to head over themselves, so it's his fault. He wonders if there are any...
He got that kaiju killed.
Yeah, he Karen'd her.
He did that. He did.
He wonders if there are any residual effects of the Onyx. He says bad imagination is worried about every possible worst case scenario, and good imagination is being proactive about potential outcomes. Paraphrase. He thinks further...
Good imagination, yeah. But thank you for your ideology of good imagination and bad imagination, Shu. I'm sure it stands up to scrutiny.
He doesn't use the terms bad imagination and good imagination, but he does there is a way to go about imagination correctly. to not like destroy not to kill your mental health. He thinks further about imagination with respect to Rin's friend fishing for sci-fi stories ideas from Rin's work, and thinks writing fiction must be hard, especially since being a character in an Ultraman show means your life is already a sci-fi story. He said he'd probably offer ideas himself if they weren't all bound by confidentiality, and thinks, damn, a book about this shit I've seen would go hard. Then he thinks about how he'd like to write his own mystery novel one day, and lets slip that he's a world-building guy. He then considered putting characters based on him and Yuma in the Sherlock and Watson roles, respectively, but then reconsiders the optics to make the protagonist based on himself and flip-flops the roles. Apparently the Bon Hebon novels are also, a Watson story from the perspective of the Watson named Wally. Episode 22, Shu reports the episode's events to Nabuya. This is White Mask episode. He recalls a side of the events from the episode where he woke up in another world as a coffee bean provider. He thinks it'd be a boring life, but also thinks how in the moment he remembered thinking it was weird, like a dream or something. Nabuya convinces Shu to investigate things further before submitting a report to the top brass, and Shu understands but laments that. He doesn't really know what Arc blew up to fix things, but he felt pretty confident he did. His arm starts hurting, so he stops writing, but then he says something to the effect of, this industry is proof of my experiences alongside Yuma and Skip, so it's valuable, etc. Episode 23, there's a crater in the middle of the city, and it's a bad way, especially because they can't get hold of Yuma. He thinks about how the events of the episode were a blur and how Yuma dodged all his questions. He regrets over not noticing the burden Yuma was shouldering alone and only now realizing, as well as not stopping Yuma from running back. Shu says the term crucify explicitly, and shook him up enough that he snapped at Rin. He thinks about how he did not want to lose either Arc or Shu, and how the relief the gang saw seeing Arc win was interrupted by a big-ass explosion, and now Skip has to go assist on rescue duty. Why did my Google Docs refresh? I didn't ask for that.
Rip.
I'm gonna scroll down.
Google says fuck you.
Where was I? So now Skip has to go help with rescue duty because they're short of staff, and that includes looking for Yuma themselves. So Shu ends the entry wishing Yuma safe. The final entry I have is for the special recap episode, which I don't know when it was written, because in this entry, Yuma and Shu revisited the old movie theater, so it definitely couldn't have happened after episode 23. They're investigating the crystal kaiju shards from the Gomez episode, because I think maybe the shards traveled via wind. They try and look around the theater, who apparently still has a manager, despite the fact no one goes there. Property rights, am I right? And Shu's anxiety flares up because of his traumatic memories of that episode and being brain hijacked. Yuma breaks the tension by pointing to a movie poster and asks if Shu had ever seen it, and tells him that he had memories of seeing it with his friends. Shu is touched by Yuma's actions, especially because he realizes Yuma is discarding his own traumas of the loss of his parents to help Shu in this situation. Shu admits in his diary to not being a film head and says the last time he saw a movie in theaters was Bon Hebon 3 years ago, the adaptation, when Hokudojo attack. He felt the movie...
3 years ago when Hokudojo... Yes, thank you.
He felt the movie wasn't as good as the novels, but he hopes the reboot will be better, which has me wondering, damn, 3 years in the reboot? What are they doing over there? But he thinks about inviting Yuma to go see the movie with him. The final quote, the final line of the diary entry is, quote, I want to leave him with some good memories.
Nice.
And yeah.
Nice. All right. Do we have any emails?
We have one email.
Go for it.
Cross Zeta.
Hello.
Hello, Cross Zeta, once again. Congrats on completing your second New Gen Ultra series. As a show, I really don't think it would come together. I was a bit worried based on the first couple weeks having a weaker showing that the show would rank lower. I am glad that was not the case. One of the shows I felt really good did really well by their multi-part episodes. The one-offs were also good too. Can't believe they made an all-time guy with Ishido. Time to run, Ultra Q. P.S. What returning kaiju from the show do you not want to see come back?
What kaiju from this show do I not want to see come back, or what? I assume.
What I guess what kaiju that showed
do we not want to see return?
Yeah, what old kaiju that was in this show do we not want to see again?
Oh. Were there old kaiju in this show?
Outside of Panagon.
Pegalo was in this show. Panagon was in this show. Kanagon 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 Was the Noisler a returning kaiju?
There's a few returning kaiju we haven't got to the shows from, so I'm not gonna say which.
Lol.
But
Yeah,
Lol.
I don't, because like the only ones I can think of are like Pegula and Kanagon. I want those guys around.
yeah,
Kaiju.
technically
I don't want to
Pegula
come
barely
back.
showed up. It was just like in the background.
Yeah.
General kaiju from this show, I don't want to come back. The Noisler, I don't want to have to. I don't know. I don't need that opening gag again.
Not sticking out your gut.
No. I have to put up with this enough in VTuber circles.
Oh right, I guess a lot of VTuber fans are not original with the humor.
No, they're not. But also, Bibu is Bibu. Other kaiju from this show.
Like, I guess yeah. In that case, since you don't know which kaiju, since I'm keeping secret which ones are necessarily returning versus new, which ones, just in general, which ones are you like? This is fine. We don't need to bring it back.
Is there a list of Ultraman Arc kaiju?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Oh yeah, I guess like Neronga's here, Pagos is here. I forgot that's a lot of these.
Oh yeah, we had the
Okay,
Pygos Naronga episode. Yeah.
I don't feel like
you know what I want to. I can't believe we haven't brought up the fact that the Ultra that contacts them through UP is called Biorno. Biorno
yeah.
Biovana over here.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was just trying to remember his name.
Fucking Biorno. I'm fine with. I can't think of a kaiju I don't like from this show. I don't think.
yeah, like nothing stands out to me as like I never want to see you around these parts again.
Del Tandle was like, get out of here.
Yeah.
Stop it. That's enough out of you.
Yeah, I guess that's one thing is like maybe it's because like there were I guess there's a lot more new kaiju than I expect. Well, I don't know. So maybe I'm not sure, but there wasn't a lot of repeats, and that's good. Like we got like one repeat in like the early half where we got like the first episode kaiju showing up again for like the alien who went to jail. But otherwise, you know, and I guess
the alien who went to jail.
Yeah,
so true.
and I guess we also got 3 variations of Monogelos, but you know.
Mm-hmm. And those were fine.
Yeah.
They were like themed. I
Yeah.
kind of thought that they were going to be the big bad guy in the end, and they weren't.
I'm so happy they weren't.
I think it would have been weaker if like they got to do the Zedon thing without making it like the finale of the show, and that's fine.
Yeah.
It would have been lame if like Quadzelos was like the final boss.
Yeah, I feel like the Galoses would probably be my answer, just because I feel like if another Ultraman thing is doing anything like that, I feel like it just makes sense to use Zeton instead.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to be like we made our own Zedon, so now it's going to become a recurring guy in the way Zedon is.
Unless they do an episode where they meet and then beat the shit out of each other, which might be fun.
Yeah.
But
what if Zeton and Ultraman teamed up?
ooh. See, what I was thinking is that they both show up and they're like, no, it's my job to kill Ultraman. And Ultraman just sits back like, well, I'm not gonna...
Oh, I see. And
I'm
they
not gonna
destroy
let
each
them.
other.
Yeah. But then the destruction to the city becomes too much, and Ultraman's like, oh no, I can't just let other people's problems get worse, and then I need to step in and stop it, and that's the lesson learned.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that there we go. We have we've given answers.
Yeah, I think
we
even
can
like
get anyone on
there's
that.
like the one that the Tesseract kaiju that shows up in like the Onyx 2-parter early on. It's like Zedon-esque, but I think it's like different enough that could show up again and be cool. Zadim, I think it's Zadim. I think it's the name of it. The pillar would be cool, but also not like in like 5 years or something.
Yeah.
I think it's like I would like to show up again, but I would like to be significant temporal removement from it so it's actually special.
I wish an ominous pillar showed up every 5 years in my real life.
What would it do?
That's the exciting part. We don't know. That's why it's mysterious.
I see. I guess Zangief probably shouldn't show up for a minute because
Yeah.
he died.
Again.
Yeah.
He's dead now.
I'd feel disappointed if he showed up again next year because I know I don't want him to overdo it.
On the other hand, it's Zangief.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that about covers
Yeah,
it.
I think we're good.
Yeah.
I think this is a good length, I think.
Oh, you mean for this podcast?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Thank you for your email, Cross Zeta. Is there
Yeah.
any more to that email?
No, that was it.
Okay, fantastic. Well, that's kind of us done. If you want to follow us online, you can do so on Twitter at ultra_QUEUE. And we are on Blue Sky at ultraQUEUE. Mel.
Hi, you can follow me at DCrowns on Twitter and Blue Sky. You can send emails at ultraqpod@gmail.com. You can money in the coffee, ultraq fund, Brad.
I'm just everywhere at Be Invoked. You can find me.
All right, sick. We have got a Ultraman Taro podcast coming out. We're watching 3 more episodes of Taro. Usual stuff.
The final stretch.
Yeah, we will let you know. We will let people know when we're watching the Arc movie. It will presumably not be for a crazy long time. Just because of how Blazer went.
At this point, we are not going to take the release schedule of the movie into account. We're just going to be like, well, when we get it, we'll know. Because like we spent like all of last year going, is it this time?
Mm-hmm.
Is it this time? And then no.
Yeah, no, never. It was never. It's a miracle. I can't believe it came out.
I distinctly remember like doing a run back. Brad saying like it's one of the last things I need to close out my year, like in May or something. And then it came out before the year was over, so you got your closure. Except not really, because we didn't resolve anything.
Silk Song this time?
Silk Song? Repost this post to delay Silk Song. Okay, goodbye everyone. We'll see you next time.
Goodbye.
Later.